Hey there everybody, I'm Jack. Welcome to another episode of Raw Tropical Living. Hope your week's off to a good start. We are having like a heat wave here where I am in South Alabama. I guess we couldn't get out of the summer or get into some cooler weather without one last little heat wave, but looks like we got relief coming in 5, 6, 7 days, and then we'll get a little bit of nicer temperatures. I'm just looking forward to some mid-lower 60s at night. But anyhow, today I want to talk about raw vegan lifestyle, cooked plant-based diet integrating the two. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already done it, I'd appreciate if you'd go down and hit that subscribe button right now. Then make sure you click on the little bell and check send notifications, or you might not stay subscribed to the channel. You know, in the words of Rodney King, and this is way before some of you young folks' times, can't we just all get along? There's too much of the cooked versus raw thing in the plant-based world. And I like to think of them that, you know, there's a lot of common ground there. And I think there's a lot of ways that people could actually use cooked plant-based diet to eventually get themselves to the raw vegan lifestyle, to get themselves to fully raw vegan lifestyle if that's what they so choose. And also, too, it's just kind of like things that's going on in my head, because I think I've maybe at some point got 1 or 2 books in me, and I've got one book that I'm going to probably ghostwrite with somebody that, or have them ghostwrite for me, that's going to be recipes. But I kind of got 2 loose ideas in mind. Like I say, who knows if I'll ever get around to it. And they both involve including cooked food in the books. One would be kind of a process book on working your way towards, you know, being fully raw. So in that capacity, they would be helpful recipes along the various stages getting there, and just some, you know, what I consider the least, if you are eating cooked food, the least obtrusive. Now, as you know, if anybody's watching this, I'm mostly raw vegan. I don't ever want that fully label, because that's just a little pretentious. But I pretty much eat all raw food. But if I decide to eat some cooked or whatever, it's a decision. I make it, I eat a meal or whatever, and I jump right back on raw. So anyhow, and I've got another idea too, if and when I were to do a recipe book. Yeah, there's definitely not more. I just don't have that many skills in the kitchen. There's definitely not more than probably 1 recipe book in me. But I would like to have cooked food in there as well. Because what's one of the things, just for a number of reasons, to be honest, because you know, most people come to this lifestyle and they feel kind of isolated because nobody's eating this lifestyle with them. So having some cooked food in there, having like different versions of certain dishes, you know, like maybe there's a cooked food version of it and there's a raw version of it. It just kind of opens opportunities, you know, like if you're trying, maybe your family's not going to go raw. Maybe they're nowhere near ready to go raw. Maybe they're a little bit more open to eating some of the cooked vegan food, cooked plant-based food. And that's a step in the right direction. And let's don't discount those steps in the right direction like it has to be all or nothing. So there's a number of reasons why I would like to do both if I were to do that. But that's also the same reasons that I talk about cooked and I talk about raw on here, because it gives you opportunities for sharing. It gives you those opportunities for sharing. And it's not just the people living with you and the food you're preparing maybe for your family, but it's also suggestions, because people, you know, our lifestyle is kind of odd to people if you haven't figured that out already. And when people ask you questions, when they're starting to get interested, it's an introduction. I had somebody reach out to me the other day from my hometown who is probably hardcore, you know, eats meat, eats all this stuff, you know, just interested in making some changes in their life. And I have a number of people that do that. And I'm sorry, you know, to the hardcore people out there, but I'm going to always help people wherever they are. I don't qualify like, you know, oh, well, I'm not wasting my time with this person, or, oh, if this person isn't willing to eat all raw or even all plant-based, that doesn't mean I'm going to like just throw them under the bus and say, no, 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 no. If you're not interested in going all the way, I don't have anything for you. And I think what I'm trying to say here is that's a mentality I would like to share and give to some other people. You know, like I say, whether it's your family, whether it's friends, maybe you entertain. You know, a lot of people entertain and they don't particularly like to serve animal products in their house. I'm just thinking of different reasonings here, but if you entertain, you know, there's good food out there. Listen, I've mentioned this before, and I don't even know how I'd get through to somebody like that. If somebody is so ignorant in their head that they're just shut off and they won't even taste something, or they don't even, you know, they're not even open to it simply because it's plant-based, simply because it's vegan, well, they're a little slow in the head. They don't have any sort of logic that I resonate with. And that kind of person, you know, I probably would not kind of be the person that I hang out with or would ever want to, like, you know, be around, because I don't like closed-minded people. Now, as I'm saying that, I'm not even saying that person is going to necessarily go. I'm not just saying, oh, well, then everybody that's not vegan, everybody that's not plant-based. I'm not throwing shade there. I'm just throwing shade at people that don't have open minds, because I'll tell you something. Long before I ever became vegan, I ate a lot of vegan food. When I lived in Miami in the late 80s and early 90s, this was towards the end of me living down there, but I found this little restaurant that was a vegan place on South Beach in Miami, in the heart of all that food down there. Now, me and my roommate, we went and ate there. We went and ate there 5 or 6 times a day between lunch and dinner, and you know what? We weren't vegan. We weren't vegan. We still went out for sushi and stuff, and I ate, you know, probably whatever. I was eating burgers, I was eating, drinking, I was doing whatever, but the food was good. That's all I'm talking about, having such a closed mind. Like, if your mind's so closed, you won't eat something because, oh, it's plant-based. Even if you're like, maybe you're not going to necessarily eat it all the time. Well, that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I can think of a number of places of different times in my life that I enjoyed good vegan food because the food was good. And that's what it's about when it comes down to food. If it's good food, any logical person's going to eat it. So, you know, like I say, the only reason, and I know sometimes I kind of throw a little shade and kind of make joke about all the recipe obsession out there. That's all I'm really joking about, is the recipe obsession out there. There's a certain type that's just like, all they do is like, they're like parrots that repeat a word over and over. Recipe, recipe. They're just, I don't know, I guess they're curious people and they want to know the recipe for everything. I'm going to guess that they don't make even 1% of those things. It's just kind of like, you know, their go-to with the recipe. But having good recipes is key on this lifestyle for being raw. And once again, I want to stress, I'm always about sharing with a broader audience. I'm about sharing, you know, just bringing the life-saving benefits of this lifestyle to more people. And I think, you know, the world would be a healthier place. We'd have more interested people if we weren't just so all about the raw versus cooked. I don't have any time whatsoever. I think in the whole over 6 years that I've been doing this lifestyle, I don't know that I've participated. I'm sure at some time, I don't like to say never, but I'm not sure I've ever participated in a raw versus cooked conversation, unless I'm just talking about the absurdity of even having the conversation in the first place. So yeah, don't be closed-minded. And if you're, like I say, don't be closed-minded in a lot of different ways. If you're working towards being fully raw, think about long-term. I think I've said that once or twice before. Think about getting there and doing it for a lifetime. Don't think about necessarily, oh, how's the quickest way I can get there? You know, so if you can use that cooked food to keep you from making poor choices at times, and, you know, if you, like I say, if you were set on getting to a fully raw lifestyle, you can even have a plan that consists of dropping that, or just using that because it's still going to be better than going to the drive-thru. And that's what generally happens. People are so anti, I'm not going to eat any cooked food, that they hold on as long as possible, and then it just like breaks loose and they eat whatever. So let's just be a little bit more, like I say, it's always, I like to do clarification videos. I'm vegan first. I'm plant-based second. But I say vegan first because vegan's more than just what we eat. That's a mentality. It's a lifestyle. I mean, you know, I do my best. I don't do videos on the ethical aspects of being vegan very much, other than just saying I'm vegan. But I try to, you know, do the best possible. I try, you know, I don't wear animal products. I try not to buy animal products with anything. So I'm vegan first. Plant-based second, because like I say, I just think the plant-based lifestyle can save a lot of lives. And there's a lot of healing that comes from a plant-based lifestyle, regardless of whether it's cooked or whether it's raw. Now, obviously, by the way that I eat, I do believe in the raw, and I do believe that eating the raw lifestyle is a more healing version. But once again, I'm not into one or the other. I just want to meet people and help them wherever they are. And, you know, without making any judgments of, well, if you're only going to be like this, you're not worthy of any of my knowledge, what little knowledge I have. But yeah, so I'm just going to, you know, like, and I might do some stuff this fall. I mean, obviously, if and when I do a book, that's a little bit down the road when I get somebody here with me with some help. But I think I'm going to lean towards doing some things along this subject this fall, you know, like some different ideas, you know, for people that as the weather gets cooler, just some like different things, you know, like some things that you could make fully raw, but you could also, you know, for someone else or even for yourself, if you just need a little cooked food through the winter, that you can integrate the two. But let's just don't think of either or so much, you know. Just meet people where they are. Don't be judgmental. Anyhow, into my video rant for the day. I don't know if that was really considered a rant, but anyhow, if you like this one, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Peace.